Welcome back, Talks and Strange Thoughts. Today is another special episode. We got a special guest.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Joe Bagby, here from Dallas, Texas, man, the COO of Channel 3. Y'all check out the brand, man. I appreciate you guys for bringing me on. I know we've been talking for quite a while, you know what I'm saying, ready to get this. But, yeah, man, I'm ready to chop it up with y'all, talk about some things, man. It's going to be a good one, I guarantee it.
Yeah, for sure, man. I've been telling Chacho we wanted to get you on. Uh, we had a we had met once before this, and I felt like I've known you for a while, man. Just checking your shit out, man. And it was like, damn. And I wanted to bring you on mostly because, like, it's inspiring some of the shit you're doing, like, just the way that Spanish, like the way first African American in Texas. Do you
The first African American male in particular, really the first African American to get a Bachelor of Arts and a Master's of Arts in Spanish in the state of Texas ever. So, yeah, man, I did a whole lot. I also, studied abroad in Barcelona and Valladolid, Spain, 2016, 2017. That's what really sparked my interest, obviously being in San Marcos too, being in the South, heavy in Mexican culture and things like that, you know what I mean? And so all those things contributed to my growth and things like that. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to touch on the Spanish because you speak Spanish. You got that master's degrees. How do you Spanish come around? You're from Dallas, right?
Yeah, man. So basically, what happened, man? I remember I grew up in Dallas, Texas. African American mother and father. You know what I'm saying? I really didn't. The first interest, it really started with the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. That's when it really started. That was around my senior year of high school. And so I actually started learning Portuguese first. So I also speak Portuguese as well. And then I went to Texas State and ended up being around foreign friends because I was playing a lot of soccer and things like that at the university. Those guys obviously, Hispanic, Latino speaking Spanish. And that was my first group of friends. And like I said, I went and traveled to Barcelona the first time, studied, and I came back after 2016. I told my mom, I was like, hey, look, I don't like math. I don't like science. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to do none of that. But I like this Spanish thing, and I think, for a black man, that would be cool. You feel me? So I took up on that, and I just stuck with it, man. Dedicated myself to it and learned it, and now I'm here.
So you went to college not going into, like, you weren't going to do Spanish right off that?
No, I didn't even, at the beginning of my freshman, I didn't know. Like I said, I would say my freshman year, I was learning Portuguese first. And, freshman year, I was still trying to figure out what did I want to major in, what did I want to do. And right around the sophomore year when it started, I was like, okay, well, they don't have, majors in Portuguese and things, but they do in Spanish. And so after talking to some people, I went up on that, and that was it, man. We went from there.
It's crazy, man, because our experience with Spanish, or mine in particular, it is kind of the same probably. But it's different because, like, our parents are from Mexico, so Spanish is the first language, like, I knew, like, straight up, like, shit, I didn't know English until I got into kindergarten, first grade, like, so it's crazy to think, like, the different relationships people have with Spanish, like, mine is, like, and also growing up, it's cool that people appreciate Spanish because I feel like I wasn't one to appreciate Spanish, especially when I was younger, because I'm like, damn, I'm trying to fit in with people, like,
Yeah, that.
¿Y tú hablas español también?
También, claro.
Sí.
Yeah, I was like Chico said, we were born, raised speaking Spanish, right? Well, as I was growing up, my mom was like, "Hey, talk to me in English. That way I could get some practice." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure."
Right.
So eventually, you get to a certain age where you kind of get away from Spanish, and then I feel like that's how a lot of Hispanics they just don't learn Spanish because the new generation is just like trying to advance.
We also, like, are pushed away from, like, society to, like, embrace our language, our culture, because we live in the in the States,
right?
Like, white dominated, like,
right.
Culture.
So do y'all feel that English holds more prestige than Spanish does?
I don't. Well,
do you consider it more of a prestigious language than Spanish?
I would say so. Well, it just depends, like, where you're at.
I don't know, because I don't know what you mean by prestige, but I'm starting now, more recently, like, to actually, like, embrace the Spanish, like, go
right.
back to Mexico, like,
right.
see what the culture is about over there, like, Yeah, just embracing who I am, and
Yeah.
like where my family's from, the language, before like growing up and stuff, it was more different. Like you kind of like are pushed away from that
Of
and stuff.
course.
So now I'm starting to like try to level it back, where it's just like, yo, I gotta appreciate the Spanish as well,
Yeah, for
and not
sure.
just the English. Like,
I'm trying to make sure my kids and their kids know Spanish too, because I have a lot of friends and their grandma spoke Spanish to them, and I'm just
Mhm.
like, oh, you know Spanish? They're like, no, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
well, what are you doing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
well, we're both from Cali too, so I don't know if you noticed this in Cali, but when like at least in my like neighborhood and stuff, and like my school, everybody that I went to school with, there's like an immigrant community, so Spanish was like my parents were involved. Like Spanish was a big thing. Like we moved here, Texas. Like it seems like the people here, obviously Latino, Hispanics and stuff, but Spanish is not the Spanish is not something that like is that's bringing the people together. Like it's third generation, fourth generation. Like the kids don't speak Spanish anymore. Like
Yeah.
sometimes it's a little hard to relate. Like even though we look the same, like it's just like oh shit. Like
And it's crazy because one of my homeboys just came back from Cali, literally like a week ago, and he's like, "Yeah, man, everybody speaks Spanish over there," and I'm like, "Yeah, we do here too." He's like, "Nah, bro, I'm talking about like." It's like the roots over here is more like he says more Texican,
Right.
it's just different cultures for sure.
it's like Tex-Mex culture here. I think California is much more like recent immigrants are like heading there. Like
Right.
so it's just a little different to see the cultures. So,
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I feel y'all. I think it's good that you feel the way that you feel. One big thing, this thing with me, like being as a black man, right, and like being able to study you guys' history, right, y'all's history, y'all still have traces of, like you say, where you come from, y'all's history. Being a black man, being African American, right, I don't truly know my history. I don't truly know where I come from. I don't know anything past my grandfathers, probably great grand. I don't know, and that's all due to obviously the slavery and the things like that and the history that came along with it. And that's why I always, advocate for Latinos to keep their language, to keep their names. Don't change up. Don't. Of course, we can be Americanized and things like that and speak the language, but don't fall away from your roots because you don't want 2-3 generations to fall down the line. And a lot of people in my situation where my last name is Bagby. You know what I'm saying? I believe that's an Irish last name. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why, like I said, I'm glad that you guys do feel the way that you feel, and even me, like my kids, they will know Spanish as well, just because I do feel like throughout America and how America works and how it has worked, it's real common to lose those ties and things like that as the generations go.
Yeah, man, that's deep. That's deep, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people could care less about where they come from, but like there's some people that actually like want to know. Like for me,
Yeah.
I ask my mom and like my aunts all the time, like, where are our, where's your grandma, like great grandma from,
Right.
because I have a picture of my great grandpa. He's white, blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure he's from like Spain, right? That's
Right.
what they've said. But on the other hand, you have my grandma. She's like short, little, like no hair, like slicked back, like Indian, Native American.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm trying to know where she's from, cause just like that's crazy. You go over there to Mexico. I'm from Guadalajara,
Mhm.
Ocotlan, like Jalisco, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where all the agave is from. And like, there's all these like Native Americans that are kind of like frowned upon,
Right.
for the same reason of Europeans. They
Right.
just the darker you are, the less rich you are.
And that's what's always been crazy to me, because for example, like my great grandmother, my grandfather's mother, she was, like you say, we would consider a Native American. I don't even, to me, from what I believe that Native Americans, what they say, are nothing more than descendants of Mexicans, right? My great grandmother, we have one picture that my grandfather has. My great grandmother, her hair goes down to her butt. We all know that African, if you have African roots, your hair goes up to the sun, right? And so that it goes back to what you said. It's just like, you have a little white, the blonde hair, blue eyes, and then you have your grandmother, and the whole concept of race and racism never really makes sense to me, because obviously somewhere in my bloodline, there was a white man that was fooling around with black women, you know what I'm saying, and now I'm here, you know what I mean? And so some way, in some type of connection, we all have something tied into each other, right? But it's just our current situation is just like this. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. You know, if you had kids, you had kids, I have kids, okay? Y'all the homies, you know, y'all are always gonna be a resource for me. When we come together, all our little kids gonna be speaking Spanish to each other. Mom may be black, like y'all may be fair, but what does it matter?
Right.
You feel me? And so outside of, you know, this social structure that America and the society has built, we know that when it come down to real people and just love, loyalty, and the things that I believe that, you know, the Mexican culture truly views that it's important, you know, that's what it all comes down to. It's just the love of the culture and the people. It don't got nothing to do with skin color. You feel?
Well, I was gonna say, because you know, being a child of like immigrants and stuff, for me, like the first sense of American culture was honestly like hip hop, like black culture, honestly, because it was what I was listening to. Like I couldn't relate. I feel like I couldn't relate to some of the stuff that I don't know, some of the stuff that I was brought up into. Like obviously in my community, I was relating to them because like, you know, we're all kind of the same, one and the same. But like when you step out more, you're just like, oh wait, I can't relate to like what white America is going on, or like I don't know whatever they got going on. But I can relate to some hip hop. Like I can listen to some lyrics, some struggle. Like I'm like, oh shit, like that's what I was bumping young, you know. So
right. Yeah, I feel like as far as even music, and actually I talk about it in my book to where it's just like even me, you know, I think even me like listening to like people, I mean, what is it, Tercer Elemento, you know, Vicente Fernandez, or, you know, Fantasma, whatever, La Fantasma, whatever it may be, right? Every, you know, music genre has something that will connect to you. There's some things in rap music that I feel like I truly can't connect with, and there's a lot of that. I would say there's a majority of black people that do listen to rap music that has nothing to do essentially with what they do, right? I don't think, when I look at rap music, I say the majority of rap music it kind of has a negative connotation. A lot of it does talk about a lot of things that I don't think a lot of black people do. And so as I started listening to other things, you know, other forms of music, even like, you know, when I was in Spain, I started listening to flamenco and la rumba and different things like that, right? And that, you know, like I say, exposure leads to expansion, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so it was good for me that I could take that in, right, and make that a part of my life, because that gave me another music genre, another outlet to find music that I relate with. You feel me?
Yeah. It's crazy because like even now, as I say, I'm trying to appreciate Spanish more, speak it more, know more about the culture. I'm like trying to dive into the music too, like because that's something I wasn't even listening to. Like my parents were bumping it. Nah, like I want to listen to something I can relate to here. Yeah. Mostly hip hop, honestly. So now I'm like, okay, yeah, like I'm listening to like what. Like just Spanish music, and it's like, oh shit, like it just really is a message, stuff that you can relate to, stuff that you like.
Right. For me, I started listening to Spanish music, like reggaeton, corridos, all that, like probably 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, like growing up, of course you're gonna hear it at parties, you know, at the house. But like me, actually on my phone, 2 years ago when I started working in the pipelines, there was nothing but, you know, Spanish speaking people are over there, right? So obviously they're gonna be listening to that, and it's crazy because like the Mexican culture, they're adapting like the American culture, as in like the new generation of artists over there, they call it corridos tumbados.
Exactly, yeah.
So over here talking about drip, talking about like all this.
What is I think it's Nathaniel Cano.
Nathaniel Cano.
Yeah,
he's a beast.
He be killing it, bro. I fool with his music, bro. I really do.
Yeah, shout out my boy.
Yeah. And also I remember I think it was last year, I actually went to a Bad Bunny concert.
Yes, sir.
Out in San Antonio, and man, I tell you, I had a Dominican flag. One of the families that I stayed with out in Spain, they were a Dominican family. They gave me a flag to take back to the States. The only black dude in the whole damn concert, bro. I took my Dominican flag out there with me. You know what I'm saying? But it was cool, man. And it was just like, even, you know, me being able to understand Spanish now and hearing, you know, Conejo Malo say whatever he has to say in his music. It's cool. You feel me?
What do you think about his music?
I think I'm going to keep it a buck with you, right? We've seen Bad Bunny kind of change his image as, you know, because like 5 years ago, or, you know, as time went on, he was rapping different. And I think that now he's trying to expand his demographic. Now he's not, you know, rapping specifically to, you know, the streets of people of like Puerto Rico. Beats. Now he's starting to do a lot of rock music, alternative music. And I think it's good that he's doing that. You feel me? Because like you say, I always say that if you are always a person, you can thrive in that one element. But it's best to, keep expanding, keep doing. So that's why I do appreciate him and I do like his music, and I think he'll continue to be one of the greatest artists for a long time.
Yeah, his music is very relatable.
Yeah, big facts.
And it's crazy because, like you said, we've seen him, at least the ones that have been following him for a while.
Yeah.
We've seen him transition into from a reggaeton artist to like an actual artist.
Right.
And people don't like that. People don't understand that.
People don't like it, bro. The fact that he went from trapero to like this big kind of Billboard, top, Grammy type dude. But at the end of the day, it's just like, I have to appreciate you if I'm agreeing with things that you do or not. It's just like I said, you can't be my friend if you only want me to do what you want me to do. You feel me? So I'm going to support him. I'm going to do whatever he do. I'm going to support everybody. You know what I mean? And I think his evolution, his change, it's a good thing.
Hold on. What show did you go to?
Which one did I go to?
Yeah.
It was one of them. It was one of these big arenas out there. It was right next to the San Antonio Spurs arena.
The Freeman?
Yeah, I believe it was.
But was it like his album or like when he just was
This
doing
was
singles?
before... This was around the time Yo Hago Lo Que Me De La Gana came out. It was right before El Mundo Es Mío came out. So this was
100
No,
X.
matter of fact, no. I think you're right. This was before the pandemic. So, yeah, that was a while ago.
No, it was 100 pre-X or whatever. Because I was there, and like I'm telling
you was there?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay,
that's
yeah.
my boy
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Bro, I'm telling you, he be talking to you like he's performing songs, right? And then he stops and then he gives out like a heart, like a speech from the heart, bro. He's like, yeah, man, like whatever you do, like don't give up. And it just hits different, dog, for sure.
Yeah, I feel that. Well, because I didn't, honestly, Bad Bunny didn't come to my scene until last year. So I wasn't listening to him prior to that.
Yeah, November 9th, 2019.
Yes, sir.
And I know now, like, everyone's bumping Bad Bunny, like, you got
white girls bumping Bad Bunny now. I'm just like, God damn.
You got people that were probably like 2 years ago been like, what the fuck is this? Like, turn shit off. Like, now it's just like, Bad Bunny's everywhere.
It shows you, bro, like, I'm just keeping it a buck. People follow the train, bro. Like, I'm just, like, but you see that with a lot of rappers nowadays,
right.
You know what I mean? So, it just be like that, you know what I mean? Hey, it is what it is.
Dog, how is Barcelona?
Man, I'm tell you, if you ain't never been to Spain, you best to go, man. The most beautiful beaches, women greatest right? Food, and the air is just different, man. Like they don't even drink out of plastic water bottles; they drink out of glass water bottles. That's a good type of lifestyle over there, man. I love it over there.
Damn, I've been wanting to go, man. Them plane tickets are expensive, though.
Yep. You gonna drop some money over there, man. But that's why I say I think the greatest thing for me that happened was when I went over there. Like I went twice for a study abroad, and I ended up. I think the good thing was I was able to speak Spanish, so when I was staying with that Dominican family, I was able to communicate with them. So they really liked me and embraced me, and they were like, hey, we're moving to Barcelona. If you need somewhere to stay, just stay with us. And eventually I met, like, the majority of my friends out there, they're 18, 19, 20, they're a little younger than me. But, they be moving, and they actually just started a brand out there called La Crema Records.
Yeah.
So they doing a shout out to La Crema Records, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to give them a shout out. They coming out, they just started, and I'm a part of that, and I'm gonna help them boys get to going over there too with that music. So
did you hear about? Because I was seeing something online not that long ago about a rapper being jailed for his lyrics out in Spain, and there was like protests going on for weeks out there. I don't know if you heard about it. What was going on?
Well, that's the thing, and I actually, like I said, I talk about it in the book, man. Spain has a long history of really Spanish colonized countries, period, have a strong history, a strong line of people utilizing their voice against, it could be a government thing, it could be something political, and, they get their freedoms taken away, and so.
Yeah, that's something I talked to my friends about too. Like, it seems like other cultures, like American culture is very materialistic, consumeristic. Like, other cultures, they seem to go against the grain sometimes. Like, I was even listening to some of that rapper, like, why were they jailing him? He's like a communist guy, like, speaking out against the government, like, just trashing the El Rey, La Reina out there, like, I mean, it's just like, he's just singing, like, so he's like a rapper out there.
Right.
So it was like, And then the protests out there, I was like, damn. So people are really out there rioting for this guy. Like he's getting sent to jail. Like they're out rioting. Like it just seems like people are more willing to, I don't know, fight for something in some of these cultures rather than here. Well, I mean, we saw the protests here, the Black Lives Matter. Honestly, that's kind of how we started this podcast.
That's how we started for sure.
We were like, there was just a lot of shit going on, and we are like, what is a way we can express ourselves and have these conversations and
try to spread awareness.
Yeah, and so that's how we started. So it's cool, like when some of these big events happen, like the culture kind of changes a little bit. Like,
right.
It either gets pushed into a little more progress, but it just seems like it's more. I guess what I'm getting at is like it seems there's more progression in other places rather than here. What do you think about that?
Well, I would say this: you have, all throughout my Spanish literature studies, you have people like Reinaldo Arenas, which was a Cuban writer that was writing against the revolution of Fidel Castro and things like that. We have plenty of writers. You even have Nancy Morejon, Nicolas Guillen from the Caribbean area, that basically, and it goes back to what I say, this is y'all's outlet. And for me, being in academia, this is my outlet. It's by writing. This is a form of art. Music is a form of art. Literature is a form of art. You can utilize your art in order to express your emotions and things like that, and express what you say. And in every country where that has happened, there's been progression, right? And so that's what we talk about. You have, like I say, I don't ever talk down on, other countries or other people, but when you have places like China or other communist regimes to where they prevent that from the truth from coming out, then there's no progression there. And so personally, that's how I feel. I talk about people like, Francisco Franco, that was was the dictator basically of Spain for about 50, 60 years. Not to keep talking, but it's just even like Francisco Franco and you have people like Mussolini up in Italy and things like that. One thing I can say about America is it has its issues, it has its problems, but we can always say that progression has consistently happened. Now they're trying to probably stop that progression from happening. You just had that dude out there in Georgia sign that bill that had to do with people, their voting rights. I don't know all the details, but anyways, I can say one thing about this country is that Black people and Latino people and now Asian people, after this massacre has happened with these Asians, we are taking steps to break down some of these things that have been in place for hundreds of years, and they got to change, regardless if you want it or not. Whenever I say America is a house, it is a house that's built on a bad foundation, and when you build that whole thing has to be, broken down, and so that's what we're doing.
I saw the video on Univision.
That Telemundo. Yeah, Telemundo interview. Yeah, man, I mean, so basically how that happened was, and it's crazy, my mother, basically had a friend, and they were basically having a conversation one day, and my mother brought up to her that, I was speaking Spanish and I was learning blah, 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 all that stuff. And the lady ended up having a connection with a woman at Telemundo. And long story short, after, some conversation, she called me that next week and she was like, hey, I want to do an interview. I want to learn your story and things like that. And I was like, hey, cool. I was actually in Spain at the time. I said, well, let's schedule a time in August. I'll be back and let's do it. And you can actually see in the interview, my mom's only speaking English because she don't understand anything that I'm saying, talking to the guy. But it was a good experience and it was cool, and I received a lot of love, like through Twitter and through Instagram, social media, and that's what it's all been about for me, man. It's just like anything that I do in the Spanish world, seeing a Black man do it always brings a smile to their face, and that's just a beautiful thing to me, and that's why I keep, trying to do what I do. You feel me? So,
yeah.
So, I mean, everything going good, like even this book, like, I plan on translating it in Spanish and having the Spanish version come out because I said, with the ability that I have, I do want to be able to spread to a large demographic and be able to tell my story to the world and even with Channel 3 and the brand, man, the guys, my homie play in Baltimore. I got another homie, he just signed with the 76ers in Philadelphia. So we doing our thing, man. We building. Everybody doing their thing.
True.
Yeah, so I guess because writing a book has never really crossed my path, mostly because I feel like I don't have the substance to write a book. I know you said 134 pages. Like, how do you I guess how do you start the book? Like, what are your thoughts? Like, okay, I'm gonna write a book, and like, how do you just let the ideas flow? Like, for you to get all that stuff in there.
So basically, what I did was, I had been thinking about writing a book for a while. And around the time, everybody was kind of asking me, what was Channel 3 about? And so I said, well, I'm going to take the opportunity to, talk about my life, talk about my brand, talk about my journey and how I did learn Spanish, how I did do all the things that I did in academia. And, I guess as far as the process was, look, man, I read, I study things and something, basically, a lot of things happened in my life when I was younger that made me seek truth. I'm a believer in Christ, you know what I mean? And so, I was asking God for wisdom, show me what this is really about, what this world is, what this politics stuff, all this stuff. And man, I was just on YouTube, I was reading books, I was doing things, I was looking at things. And of course, I was deciphering, for myself what I felt was real, what was not. And so accumulating all this knowledge over these years, being in college and doing all this, being, by myself, I was like, man, I got to write this stuff down. I got to share some of this stuff out to the world. And even the book, like they say, when you're an author, your book is never done. You feel me? And that's been the hardest thing for me because I can always keep writing out new things. But it's like I said, it just started with, writing an outline, writing a draft, writing down each chapter, whatever I wanted to put in my chapters first. Then after I had, this for this chapter, I would write in side notes, put this, mention this, mention that, go to the next chapter, do this. And so you do it step by step. And after you do it step by step, you bring it all together and, then you got, the whole work. And so that's what it was.
Yeah, man. Writing, man. It's a creative way to, express your thoughts as well. You just can jot them down. Sometimes I have thoughts and I'm like, maybe I should write them down. I should probably hop on that, but it's cool. It's cool.
Well, my whole thing is this, bro. And like I say, even people that want to learn Spanish, like there's a lot of people that want to do it. But, I always tell people it's a specific time and place for everything. If it's not, if it's not your time to write a book yet, if it's not your time, like for y'all, it was y'all's time to start y'all's podcast. And y'all got to keep this going. Y'all got to keep moving. It was time for me to write this. It was time for me to go and learn Spanish and excel,
Yeah, so actually... So that's like a mindset thing too, because like, how do you say, ¿cómo te aplicas? Like, how do you apply yourself to, like, all right, I'm gonna get this done, like, or I'm gonna work on this, and
I got you.
Like not give up or like push it out because I want to, like, I don't know, how do you got that mindset?
Yeah, so my thing was, I feel that Latino minority people in particular, I felt like we needed more people. We needed more of the younger generation to kind of spread our truth, to kind of give off what we need to see. I just feel like as being a black dude, it's just like, why did I grow up in all these grade schools and they told me that George Washington was a good dude and he was a forefather and Thomas Jefferson with this and Thomas Jefferson and I go, we got Martin Luther King. We get that lesson plan for 1 week out of February, and then after that, there ain't no more black people. We don't talk about all the other influential black people that have done things year in and year out. You feel me? And so my whole thing was, I had to do this. You feel me? This book is for my kids. It's for my people. And when I felt that, when I said, and that's what I felt like a lot of these, influential black, and you even got, Latino people. When you get something where you just like, man, I got to do this for my people. It's not about me. It's about all of us. That's where this come in,
Yeah, that's kind of the mindset we had coming into this podcast too. Is just like, this is like, we wanted to like talk about the issues about like that is affecting like our community, like our people, like the stuff that we care about. Yeah, man. So honestly, that's like super inspiring to hear because it's just like, it's bigger than you, Right. So it's just like, and when you look at it like that, it's just like, sometimes like there's no stopping you, right? Because
man, it ain't. And my whole thing is just like, bro, like I don't want my life to go, and I felt like I didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? My whole thing is like, I fool with everybody, but how I see it is just like, if I don't feel you excelling and you not doing nothing and I just can't fool with you. I ain't got a problem with people going out doing their thing on the weekends, partying or whatever. But the reason why, me and you, when we first met, you know what I'm saying, we had a real conversation off the bat.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And so that right there, that just let me know, hey, I got to keep you in my pocket. Because I go out, I talk to women, other dudes out here, and they ain't talking about nothing. I ain't got nothing to talk to them about. You feel me? And so that's what it's all about with me. Like I said, I keep the real people real close to me. And y'all, like I said, y'all got a purpose just like I got a purpose. And we going to continue to work together. We going to keep this thing jumping and moving, man. You know?
Channel 3.
Yeah, man, Channel 3, man. You know, success is your ability to channel 3 things within the mind, body, and spirit. And what's going on in this world is, especially in American society, I was actually talking to a bunch of my coworkers last week. And I was telling them, basically, I said, you know, people, you know, they generally got the mind and the body down. But it's 1/3 element. You know, it's the spirit. And everybody know, y'all, you know, y'all got grandmothers. Y'all know the, you know, Latino, it's religious. It's a third thing that people can't genuinely grasp an understanding of. But when you get to grasp that understanding of the spirit and having that, it's something above you that pushes you and motivates you and gets you to where you need to be, man, you can't be stopped. And so that's what the Channel 3 is all about, man. And you know, keeping them 3 things.
Yeah, well, what is Channel 3? Because it's a brand you're out with.
Right. So Channel 3 is basically a brand, man. We advocate for personal progression and personal development, especially within the minority communities. You feel me? We felt like, okay, well, now it's time for Black and Latinos to build up generational wealth. Now it's time for Black and Latinos to come together and build up our communities and do the things that we need to do so we can be able to find ourselves in positions of power and do our things that we need to do. We need to bring the Black community and the Latino community together. And so me, obviously, I'm a bridge. You know, I speak to both people. I do all things. I love everybody. I got white friends, and everybody know my white brothers are my brothers. You know, that's what it is. But for my people, for our people, we got to do these things. And so to go a little bit more in depth, you know, Channel 3, you know, it's all about academics, entrepreneurship, and athletics. That's where we thrive at, you know. So we got James, we got Mason to play in the NFL, got the NBA. Josh, he the CEO, he the entrepreneurship side. He run everything as far as the business. Me, I'm in academia, you feel me? So we all put all our resources together, all our things to be a part of this big brand.
Yeah, how did y'all come about? Like, how did you meet everybody? Like,
yeah, man, that's a beautiful story. So and this was crazy, man. That's why I say Spirit's God.
Fuck yeah.
All of us wore number 3 when we was in high school. And so I met James first. And we really didn't know each other. We grew up down the street, but basically how it was is it was a freeway, 35. And 35 back in Dallas, you know, the brother stayed on one side of the freeway, I stayed on the other side, so we went to 2 different schools. Eventually a school got built to where, you know, we could meet in the middle, and so we both went to the school in Dallas. And I met James, he played football, met Josh, played the brothers, we were playing 2K, became best friends, whatever. And, you know, then I met our media guy, Sweeney, my other guy, Justin, and then everybody else came along, and we just became a family because we all had the same mindset. You feel me? And so basically this is what happened. When Nipsey Hussle died, that shook me. And that also shook Josh, the CEO. And so we was like, man, we got these influential Black men that are being killed. You know, we got MLK being killed. We got Nipsey Hussle being killed. We got, Khalid Muhammad. We got Malcolm X. We got all these Black leaders being killed. Now, I can't say I agree with everything that they said, but I will agree that they are talking in opposition of what the American system has done and oppressed for its people for so long. So anyways, that's kind of basically how everything came to pass and how we met. You feel me?
It's crazy how as soon as you start to enlighten people about what's really going on, like it's like a target on your back, right?
Oh yeah, big facts. And you know, like, you know, my mother has talked to me. You know, my mother know what's going on, and she said, you know, Joe, you are a Black man. My mom did me well for 18 years, and once I, you know, left the house, she was like, now it's on you to apply. Be careful. That's why I say I got my gun license. I keep me something on me. You feel me? I don't believe that nobody's after me. I have no reason. Like I say, anything that I owed, I always paid on time. But, you know, I understand that even us, y'all Latino man, we got brown skin. You know, essentially, our opposition is not in favor of us.
Right.
So we got to protect ourselves. We got to look out for ourselves, and it is what it is.
Yeah, man. It's the truth sometimes is too much for the powers that be, you know. So like when you start speaking your truths, and yeah, people are against it. Off rip, like
Well, yeah, I would say that too, and I think especially with the political things that are going
political
on.
things, like you mentioned, we have the like just even like when we talk about MLK and stuff, like
Right.
it's so quick to well, we have a day for him, but like we don't actually talk about him as a person or like who in depth about who he was, like the real him, like yeah. So it's just like we're like they kind of like just whitewashed everything. And
Yeah.
I even I was recently reading about a labor leader here in San Antonio. A woman, she was she worked at a pecan factory. Can't think of her name, but anyways, she led many strikes in San Antonio. Mexican American woman, like against the company that was like exploiting them and stuff. Like I've never heard about that until very recently. Like, and there's a long history of it. And so, honestly, that's why I like history, because you get to like people have already gone through the stuff we're going through right now. You know, like the same thoughts that we've had, like the same. It's like different times, but like almost relatable situations.
Right.
Like, yeah.
So have y'all heard of Black Wall Street?
Yeah.
You heard of Black Wall Street?
I've heard of it, but I would like to be
know the
more.
story behind it. Yeah, just and a lot of people really just don't know. I remember, I was also a sociology minor, which is also a reason as to why I'm really into, the social factor of the world and things like that. But for those that don't know, obviously it was black. What it was Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was a Black Wall Street where a lot of black people were starting to build their wealth and this was a long time ago. If it would have never got bombed and raided by white people back at that time, then we probably would be in a different situation. But it just kind of shows you, it's just like we said, you got your thing. I never heard of what you just mentioned. As, the Hispanic lady that did what she did. There's probably a lot of Latinos that don't know. All I can say is that there are a lot of black and Latino things that have happened to us through history that we don't know about, that we aren't taught about, that we should know. Yeah. And that is why y'all are doing what y'all doing, and I'm writing what we're doing, and anybody else that's listening, y'all got to continue to do what y'all do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my whole thing is just like,
it's like they keep away the people that, that we want to look up to, like what our like soul and who we're looking for in this like world and stuff like.
So who are y'all Latino heroes?
That's what I'm talking about. I can't find like role models.
Exactly.
So it's like I can go up to a white person and be like, "Who was y'all hero?" They say Donald Trump. They'll say the forefathers. They'll say Johnny Appleseed. They'll say whoever it want to be. But when I look at it, I say, okay, well, who are my black role model forefathers? And I'll be like, well, damn, all of them gone, dead, or, I probably got LeBron James, but they don't even like LeBron James.
Right.
He just an athlete. And even though the LeBron James try to do more than be an athlete, they still want to criticize him. So I'll be like, well, damn, is everybody just for y'all, or can we have anybody? Can we have somebody? And so that's what Channel 3 all about. We want to build that more. James want to do what he do. I do what I do. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And it is what it is. But like I said, everybody that's listening, we getting older now. We're not kids no more. And I honestly believe that this generation, our generation, or this new, we want to call it neoliberalism, whatever it may be, I don't even care about all them names. All I say is I'm a man that stand for truth. At the end of the day, America has done wrong by its people and by the people that have helped it develop. So they should do right. And if you ain't down with that, then I can't be down with you. It is what it is. You feel me?
I love that energy, dog.
Yeah, man. Y'all know. I mean, it is what it is. I hope we got it on camera too. But it should be. It should be
good. I got like another 2 minutes.
It kind of reminds me of like, so I like J. Cole. I'm a J. Cole fan. Yeah, so it kind of reminds me like no role models. Like, well, who are our role models? Like, are they supposed to be just like artists and like musicians, athletes? I mean, obviously there's some are good, like LeBron. I'm a fan of LeBron, but outside of that, like we don't have anybody really to look up to.
Like whenever you said who are y'all role models, I was kind of like,
you kind of go blank, right?
Like, what the fuck? I mean, like one of the main reasons I like Bad Bunny is for what he stands for. Like as he's evolving as an artist, he's evolving as a person. I remember he was at in Puerto Rico whenever they were trying to take down the governor, right? He was in the streets protesting. He stands for like trans rights. He went on Jimmy Kimmel wearing like they killed her for wearing a skirt. They killed him for wearing a skirt or whatever, like a shirt. So he be speaking against shit that's wrong. But other than him, and he's like 27. He just turned 27.
That's another thing too with music for me. And I know like I'll bump the Future. I'll bump like all these songs that they sound good. But for me, sometimes I'm trying to listen to like what is the message you got going on in your music. Like what are you speaking about? Like, and lately, what's been like inspiring to me and like listening to is like when you're going against something like in your music, especially like I've been listening some Eminem lately, and I've been hearing some shit.
Like Eminem a legend for that.
Yeah,
White America.
Eminem was really like past his. Like he was a little bit ahead of like when he was supposed to be. Like Eminem was supposed to be now.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah.
But he was even then, and even like the younger generations, we don't appreciate that anymore. You feel me? Even like young rap, like I still listen to a lot of people. Like I talk about Nip. I like Rick Ross. I like Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand where they're coming from, the things that they're saying. I just, like I said, I really can't listen to, I just believe that a lot of, something that contributes to black, the black community, black people's problem is the type of music that they listen to. And that's because that they cannot separate entertainment from reality. And that's a big thing that people have to understand. And so in my book, I talk about, we need to push more of these artists that write books or these artists that, whatever it may be, because the music that's so mainstream now, it ain't talk about nothing but hoes killing and buying diamond chains.
Perfect example. I love 2 Chainz. That's my boy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, big booty hoes, Right. My boy's married, has a family,
Exactly. And
it's all an image.
And they don't understand that. Even like Young Dolph. Like Young Dolph, he a fly dude, whoop, 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 but he a married man too. And a lot of the young generation just don't understand the entities that exist yet. This is all entertainment. This is not real life. I can tell you whoop, 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 and y'all gonna give me my views on YouTube and they gonna cut me my check. You feel me?
Right.
But y'all gotta understand, man, too many people have gone to jail and have lost their life because they cannot separate reality from entertainment. Now I will say, sometimes I do step away from my own culture because it's no progression in there for me, and that's why I do feel like the Latino and Hispanic culture, not to say that my culture is bad, but that's why I've embraced it so much. Because besides, don't get it twisted, we know Chalino Sanchez and all the other, we talk about they narco shit, whatever it may be, but I found other music in there that that's real good, that got a message to it. You feel me?
Yeah. Like we were just talking about Los Tigres del Norte. I don't know if you've ever seen the documentary on Netflix.
I've seen it a while ago because it came out, I think, a while ago.
2019, I believe so.
Okay.
But they did a concert at a prison.
Yep, I saw it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just listening to the music is just like so. There's a message, like even if it's like not like a straight like fuck you, like it's like actual like struggles that people are going through. Like one of the. Right. They talk about the immigrant struggle, like they talk about like missing Mexico, being illegal here, like shit.
Right. And that's the music.
I'm trying to hear those truths, Sometimes
right.
I want to hear the truths. Like I don't want to hear like, I don't know, fucking sipping lean or fucking.
Yeah, bro. You feel me?
Yeah.
It ain't that, and that's why I think that type of music is always gonna last forever. That's why I think Drake is as big as who he was, because the Drake of 5, 6, 7 years ago was rapping to not just black people, but other demographics of people, because he was talking about things that related to everybody and not just a small demographic of people. And when you speak the truth and not, that, like you say, Los Tigres del Norte, you know what I mean? This is one other song, I can't think of the name of the song, but it's a song to where the Mexican dude is writing a note back to his father that passed away, and he's just telling him how much he appreciated him and all the things because he made a better life. You feel me? I ain't got nothing to do with it. I don't even understand that. My dad ain't from Limbo, but I fool with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's cool. So before I get out of here, before I go, first of all, I appreciate you guys for letting me on, the Channel 3 family, the brand. We appreciate y'all, and of course we gonna support y'all. We gonna push everything, man. And my message to everybody is to, just like I said, man, always keep pushing and keep progressing. I think the next 30 to 40 years for the minority population is going to be real big, really important. And so I just encourage everybody to, keep doing their thing, stay focused, keep going, whatever it is that you want to do in life, stay there. And we're going to support each other. We're going to keep things moving, man.
All right, my boy Joe. Just so people could find you and find Channel 3, what's your
So
at?
my Instagram is Jaquan Bagby 3. You can also check out Channel 3, the number 3 forever on Instagram as well. You can just check it out. Just type in JOKWONBAGBY. I'm easy to find, man. Also check out my boys, man. But I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you for coming out. I invited you on just because I feel like you had a lot to talk about, man. We probably go on for days.
For sure, yeah. We're doing y'all a favor, we could keep going.
Man. Y'all want to stay into this, man, but it's all good, like I said, man.
Yeah, so Joe, whenever you want to hop on, whenever you want to promote Channel 3.
Oh, yeah, let me come back for sure in the future, man. Let me come back, man. You know
Yeah,
what
let
I'm
us know.
Thanks, man.
Talks and Strange Thoughts, Channel 3. We're going to be doing business moving forward. But yeah, man, I appreciate you. Like I said, anytime you want. Any last plugins?
Hey, man, y'all be sure to check out the book, man. Successful Elements coming out soon, man. This talk about everything that I'm about. You feel me? And just give you a little small thing,
Yeah, I can't wait for that book. When will it be out?
Man, it'll be out. It'll be out soon. I say in a couple months, man. But y'all check that out, man.
Yeah, we'll keep everyone updated.
Yeah, for sure.
That, man. A toda la gente, ya tú sabes. Bueno, pa todos los mexicanos, todos los hispanohablantes. Bueno, siguen con fuerza y confía en tú mismo y tu familia y todo eso. Hey, we gonna keep going, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's love. Until next time.